Hey there, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to keep exploring 3 bishop d3 against the French defense. Yeah, in the previous video, I analyzed a model game and I tried to make an introductory video on what the variation is about. But today I want to go deeper in a typical situation in the French defense in which we gain a space advantage from the opening and black wants to destroy our central pawns, and what happens in the case we are able to keep the central pawns for the middle game? How to use them? What can we expect from them? Yeah, so first of all, I'm going to explain the opening moves, and then we are going to see a couple of typical situations that really will be helpful for your chess practice. Okay, without further ado, let's jump right into the idea. So against the French, we play bishop d3, and now black plays knight f6. A typical idea. They want us to advance in the center to target our center and destroy it. Yeah, that's the idea, but we are not going to allow it unless it is good for us. e5, knight fd7, and now they are ready to bring all the power. Yeah, they want to play c5, knight c6, queen b6, and attack the pawn on d4, and also to attack the pawn on e5 by playing f6 at the right time. This is a difficult thing to explain when is the right time. We're going to pay attention to it all the time. So here the most reliable, in my opinion, is to play knight f3, now c5, c3, knight c6, and short castle. Well, now black has several options, but the first scenario I want to consider is black not attacking our center, even forgetting about our center. And yeah, the question is, how are we using this central advantage? So bishop e7 is okay, a passive move, but pretty normal. Now white may continue with bishop e3. So c4, and this is a pretty committal decision. Usually as black, I would never play this way. Yeah, from now on, the pawn on d4 is not attacked any longer. So bishop c2, and we have this fantastic bishop well placed against a possible kingside castle. And this is what black did. Knight bd2, b5, a3, a5, and we reach the position in which I'm going to ask you to stop the video and find the best way to attack black's king. Yeah, we have everything to attack black's king. The pawn on e5, our pieces are well directed to that part of the board. The knight may come to g5 at some moment. The queen might be ready to come to g4 to h5. And okay, black wants to play on the queen side, but our plan is much more important as we are going to attack the king. Yeah, if we manage to do it, the game is going to be over. So how could you attack black's king? What is your idea? Please feel free to comment. Feel free to leave me your ideas in the comments below. Now I will show you what is, in my opinion, the best way to start an attack. Yeah, the move is h4. Yes, a move that supports future knight g5. Yeah, from g5 the knight is going to attack black's king side, like h7, with the help of the bishop, and we will be able to bring the queen to h5 or g4. So this seems a pretty useful move. But the problem is that h4 is hanging, so black may capture it. Well, against the capture, we have a pretty normal way to bring the pieces to the game by playing g3, bishop e7, and king g2. Yeah, and we are bringing the rook to h1, attacking h7, and sometimes we may even bring the queen to h2 later on, depending on what black's respond against this aggression. In case of black not capturing the pawn, for instance against rook b8, we plan to play knight g5. Yeah, we attack h7, and yeah, for black it's really tough to defend. Okay, the f5 is simply losing to knight takes e6, g6 weakening the dark squares, so we bring the queen and we are trying to play h5. In case of black playing h5, we retreat to h3, threatening knight takes e6, as this knight is hanging. And in case of knight b6, we play g4 and we are ready to open black's king. Against knight g5, h6 might be the most normal, and now we have queen h5. I think queen h5 is the simplest. Okay, the knight cannot be taken, as h takes g5 is answered by queen h7 mate. And well, in case of knight b6, now we play knight h7 attacking the rook, rook e8, and bishop takes h6, destroying the shelter of black's king. G takes h6, queen takes h6. Now knight f6 is the threat. Yeah, for instance, before knight f6, bishop takes f6, force, and e takes f6, threatening mate, or we can mate by giving checks. Bishop h7, king h8, bishop g6, king g8, queen h7, king f8, and queen takes f7, checkmate. If you like the ideas I'm sharing, the best way to support my channel is to subscribe and to like the videos. Thank you very much. Complementary, even very important to mention, is that h6 normally, in my opinion, would be enough to play knight h2, bringing the queen to h5 and the knight to g4, and there is a huge attack. But also playing knight g5 followed by queen h5 seems to be strong enough to win. Okay, in the following example, we are going to see black trying hard to destroy our center. Yeah, we'll go from one side to radically the other. Black didn't care about putting enough pressure on our center, but now in this example, black will put immediate pressure in our center, and it's important to know how to react. Okay, e4, e6, d4, d5, bishop d3, knight f6, e5, knight fd7, now c3, c5, this is by transposition the same, knight f3, knight c6, and castle, c takes d4, c takes d4, and queen b6. Okay, black is ready to capture our pawn and puts pressure on b2 as usual. Well, now we have several ways to continue, but the most enterprising is knight c3. Bishop c2 is also good enough to claim an advantage. Yeah, we defend the pawn, and in case of knight b4, we simply run away with the bishop to a4, and later on a3, and the bishop may come back. Bishop c2 is also pretty normal, but it's pretty interesting to sacrifice the d pawn. Now black accepts, otherwise we're going to play knight a4, a3, b4, and trying to get the c5 square, or even knight e2, defending d4 and bringing the knight to the king side is a pretty normal way to continue. So black accepts the pawn, we capture on d4, queen d4, and here we are in the second puzzle. What would you do to attack black's king in the center? And we have to create threats against it. What would you play? Okay, the first move is knight b5, attacking the queen. Queen takes e5. Yeah, it's interesting to note that queen b6 is answered by bishop e3. And yeah, rook is coming to c1. Is pretty nasty for black in case of queen d8, rook c1. So the only move, I guess, is bishop c5, bishop takes c5, knight takes c5, as taking with queen is all again answered by rook c1 and knight c7, winning a rook. So knight takes c5, knight d6, check, and against king e7, I guess queen h5 is good enough to decide a game. Queen takes e5. Now we have a couple of moves, a couple of interesting moves. I don't know if you reached this position in your analysis and what were you planning to move. But okay, the most normal move is rook e1, forcing the queen to b8. But another interesting option is g3, trying to play bishop f4 and to bring the rook to c1 as soon as possible, and this is pretty strong as well. Okay, so let's see what happens with rook e1. Rook e1, queen b8, and now queen g4. Yeah, in this way, white puts pressure on e6, on g7, and enables bishop f4. Yeah, this is a pretty difficult position for black. Yeah, we're seeing a game played by Gabor Nagy against Oleg Kislov. It's a game played in 2021, and against knight f6, the game continues with queen a4, bishop d7, bishop f4. Yeah, the queen is helping bishop f4 again, queen d8, and now queen b3. Yes, watch out, we are not able to play knight c7 as queen takes c7, bishop takes c7, and bishop takes a4, and we lose a piece. So instead, against queen d8, queen b3, we're out of the pin, so we are threatening knight c7 again, rook c8, and we want to conquer c7, and we play rook a c1. Yeah, it's a tough thing to do for black, how to defend this square. The game continued with bishop c5, that loses right away, but there were no other alternatives. Bishop takes is simply losing after bishop takes b5, and knight d7, rook takes c8, queen takes c8, rook c1, the bishop is defending the rook as well, and rook c7 will come pretty soon, and black is absolutely lost. Bishop c6 is of no help as knight takes a7 attacks everything, and yeah, black is struggling. So the game continued with bishop c5, and white to play and win now. Yeah, what would you do? Yeah, this is a simple one. This is a direct one. Yeah, the game continued with rook takes c5, rook takes c5, knight d6, king e7, and knight takes b7, winning for white as the rook is attacked and bishop d6 is in the way. So this is absolutely winning for white, and I'm not going to continue with the game. It is a blitz game, and a lot of strange things happen afterwards. Yeah, there's another way in which black can try to destroy our center, but we have a very nice antidote against it. Take a look at this. C takes d4, C takes d4, and f6. This can be played a move earlier, I mean without trading on d4, they can play f6, but we will answer in the same way. Okay, let's say C takes d4, C takes d4, f6, and now, yeah, the idea is pretty normal. They want to eliminate our center. So the most normal move is e takes f6, knight takes f6, and bishop d6. And black is planning to play bishop d6 and castle, and they have an interesting position. But the thing is that we have a fantastic move here to destroy black's position, to gain an advantage. If you want to pause the video and take a look, it's the best thing you can do to improve your calculation skills. Okay, knight g5 is the move I'm talking about. Yes, we're sacrificing the knight, and okay, we're attacking h7, e6, so black must react in a very concrete way, and f takes g5 or knight takes e5 are the normal moves. Okay, let's see what happens if they accept the knight. We play queen h5. Yeah, this is the idea. Now king e7 is answered by bishop takes g5, and we regain the piece right away as knight f6 is forced. Knight f6, we are not in no hurry to recapture, so we bring our knight to c3, completing our development. King d7, unpinning, e takes f6, g takes f6, and now we have two different approaches. Bishop h4 trying to win by attack, or we can go to an ending by playing queen f7, bishop e7, bishop takes f6, rook f8, bishop takes e7, rook f7, bishop takes d8, king takes d8, and knight e2 with an extra pawn, with a healthy extra pawn, I would say, against knight g5. The best move is knight d takes e5. Now, after d takes e5, now they can capture the knight. We continue with queen h5, king d7, bishop takes g5, bishop e7, bishop takes e7, queen e7, and knight c3. The material is even, but our pieces are better placed, especially the king is a constant source of trouble. So the king might want to go to c7, a6 is normal, rook a c1, king c7 and knight a4, bringing the knight to c5 and attacking e6 and b7. And our position is better. In the case of black trying to destroy our center, either by playing c takes d4 and queen b6, or by playing f6, we have a way to answer it and to keep an advantage. And if we keep the center in the long term, we're going to have attacking chances on the king side, as we saw in the first example. Okay, I hope you find these ideas interesting and that bring you plenty of points in your game. So, see you next time.